Yeah, somebody else put a good word for him.
Oh, there is a.
Merrill Harris?
Merrill Hair.
Yes, he did. I know he checked it, no, he didn't, couldn't find the resume.
I just got his, an email from him yesterday.
But he got a lot of background here.
Oh,
He's
okay,
on the city council.
righty,
He's done
I didn't
a
mean-
lot of it. Good there. It's been a while.
okay,
He's good, he's a good guy.
yeah, I should have his email. Okay.
Some family purchased that, built them. Yeah.
But I'm waiting on my own tonight, so. Hopefully I can go see. No, I was trying to get the lights turned on.
Grabbing all of them.
The hard copies of that.
Yeah. Howdy.
Okay, you ready?
Good. Welcome to the Pleasant View City Planning Commission dated March, is today the 3rd or the 5th?
Fifth.
The 5th, this says a bit the wrong date, but March 5th, 2006. We'll start by having a flood, what's that?
It's 2026.
Oh, did I say 2006? Yeah. I'm new at this. 2026.
Feels like you're gonna.
Yeah. We'll start off by a pledge of allegiance and opening prayer reading or expression of thought by Commissioner Chad Connor.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Father in heaven, we're thankful this evening for the opportunity to come together in this capacity within this city. We're thankful, Father, for this beautiful area that we live in, the opportunities that we have and freedoms that we enjoy. We're grateful, Father, for this time to counsel together as we discuss some of the developments and interests within Pleasant View City. We pray that'll guide us this evening as we discuss the matters before us. We pray for that guidance to go forth throughout the city in future meetings as well. We're mindful, Father, of many of our military in this country that are in harm's way at this time. We pray that would bring peace to them as they are in a difficult situation and as they face some difficult circumstances. And we give you thanks for this night. We say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Commissioner Carter. Just for a quick roll call vote, we have Manya and John, myself, Jeff. We have Dean, Chad, David, and Brian in attendance tonight, so. Okay, any declarations of interest or conflicts of interest that we need to declare? I do have two. So I have, as you know, I work for, well, some of you guys know, I work for EK Bailey Construction, and there's a couple items on the agenda tonight that we're contracted to work for Woodsonia to do the Far West Landing project. So I'll recuse myself from that one, and I think also JD Machine. So at least unless you tell us otherwise. So I recuse myself from those items from voting. I do have some comments on them, but as far as voting, I won't vote on them. So. Okay, let's go into item 2A on the subdivision plat amendment for Deercrest Phase 4.
Okay. So this item comes before you tonight. It's actually item that was tabled from back in November. If you remember, the Tyners have a lot up on Valor Way. Right, Valor Way, I believe, and up in Deercrest. And there was an issue with the storm drain line that had been placed outside of the easement. And so that needed to be corrected, and it ended up with some changes to the easement itself and boundary line adjustment and a bunch of other changes. When we had this before you in November, we did have a public hearing then, so we didn't have to notice for this meeting tonight. There were no comments or anything at the time of the public meeting. The developer, Carson Jones, he came to the meeting in November and asked that we table it while they made some other adjustments to the plat amendment. And those adjustments have been made. There are a couple very minor changes to the plat that need to be done. That can be taken care of before it's printed and signed and approved, and we can make the final approval of the plat through DRC. They're very minor, such as correcting the year on a signature line type of thing. So everything else has been addressed, all of the changes that were recommended, and they've worked very closely with us, with the city engineer, to get all the changes correct, and everything on the plat looks good. So staff recommends approving the plat amendment for the Tyners.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions, comments from commissioners?
I couldn't really see a before and after picture of how the plat changed, or is the canal gonna, or not the canal, but is the wastewater going to move, or what?
It's been moved. It's in the correct place now and within the easement that it was required to be in.
Okay.
And so that's, like I said, the changes from the last version that we brought to you in November, pretty minor. So the developer did give the property owners a little bit more land to the west, on the west side of the property, to, I guess, kind of compensate for the required easement for the drain line. And so that was one of the changes that needed to be taken care of. And it's all correct. Dana from Jones and Associates has looked at it, and everything is in the correct place and taken care of now, so.
Okay. If there any other comments, questions? If not, I'll this is an approval by planning commission, so take a motion.
I'll go ahead and motion to approve item 2A, the subdivision plat amendment for approximately 1373 West, 4050 North in Deer Crest Phase 4 as presented by staff with the recommendations of staff for the final approval to go through DRC and finish it up.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Dean and a second by John. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Like it's unanimous. Thank you very much. Okay, item 2B, a site plan amendment, that was also tabled back in the December meeting for, I think this one's for the, winery over on Parkland Boulevard. So, over to Tammy.
Okay. Yes, this one, as Commissioner Bolingbroke said, was an item tabled from the December Planning Commission meeting. Again, we held a public hearing, on that evening. And so we weren't required to hold another public hearing or notice for tonight's meeting. The reason behind, tabling this item in December was there were some, plans and drawings and some more, documents that needed to be submitted in order for staff to complete their review. And so, the applicant has provided all of that, and it has been through a review, through DRC, and at this point, the plans seem to, or are meeting the requirements of the zone and the purpose. Just to kind of go through what they're planning on doing, they are requesting to add a 12,000 square foot storage building to the north of the restaurant. They have provided the plans for, they've shown the parking requirements. With it being just a storage building, there wouldn't be a whole lot of extra parking required for it than what they already have, but they do have parking in the plan. One of the items that was looked at was there's a loading dock on the north side of the building that needed to be screened. They've addressed that and shown that the screening would be there. As I mentioned, the proposed site plan shows 24 parking stalls, including 2 ADA stalls. The one item that is kind of at your discretion is they have shown, if we scroll down to their plan. They've shown adding a third driveway to the storage area, in the storage building area here to the north. City code states that frontage greater than 500 feet, between 250 feet to 500 feet allows for 2 driveway accesses. Anything greater than 500 feet is to be negotiated with the city. In our review with DRC, we felt like this was a large enough area of frontage that a third driveway is reasonable to that area. So that's something for you to consider if in your decision, if you feel like that is appropriate. There have been, as I said, no comments from the public, no concerns that we have, and staff would recommend approving their site plan.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, any questions, comments?
Are you remembering this, maybe it might be a different project. There was some parking shared with a potential, city property or a park, is that at some point, is that a different project? Was that this?
It must be a
I
different.
believe that's
We don't park out there.
No.
No.
I think that had to do with the
I think that was-
gardening
Yes,
associated with the winery.
the other side of it, yes.
They had previously looked at putting a garden, gazebo, and greenhouse across the street. yeah, but at this time, that's not related to what we're looking at.
Is it anywhere stated how many parking spaces they are actually adding?
Yeah, they I believe in the report or in your, report, it says 24 stalls.
Is the addition?
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what you said. Yeah.
Okay, any other discussion, comments, questions? If
What
not-
was it, what was the staff recommendation for that? For two B?
For 2B,
Yeah,
approval.
okay. Carson, you already got approved. I'd save you some time. Thanks, man. I felt bad for him when he walked in, cause I know that's why he was there. Okay.
If no other discussion, I'll take a motion for,
I just said, so the one thing she did mention was just the driveway, if we felt okay with that. So,
It's quite a distance from the other driveways.
Situated, I think it's where it's north of the storage building, it seems like
Yeah,
it's not gonna be a main use
right.
spot.
okay, I'll accept the motion.
Seems like.
I'll motion for the approval of the site plan. For item 2B. That's what I was reading. So the site plan amendment with any outstanding conditions indicated on the city engineer's memo. Staff and public work comments on the application plans. Oh, are we making that a conditional?
Well,
It's not a condition, but it's just,
Okay.
Whether or not you feel it's appropriate to allow that since it's a point of negotiation or
Okay.
discretion of the city.
I mean, we're taking the recommendation from the DRC, aren't we?
Mhm.
So I would say in the motion that we are accepting I guess, opinion of the DRC regarding it's called out as the curb cut or the driveway, additional driveway.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Cotter.
I'll second it.
Can he?
Oh.
Oh, yeah, can I?
Brian.
Or
you
am I
haven't done
not?
You haven't done all to be a voting member yet? We have to get training.
You sent me something I did.
Yeah, there has to be like
Another one?
a certain amount of training.
That was the
So-
Okay, then I guess I'm not.
Sorry.
Never mind.
I'm sorry, Brian.
We'll
I'll
get it
Yeah, second by Manya. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, passes, thank you.
Okay.
I know. Okay, item 2C, a site plan amendment, for an existing business expansion, located at 2744 North, 1600 West, Parkland Boulevard.
So next before you tonight is, as was mentioned, another site plan amendment. This is for JD Machine. They're proposing or wanting to do an expansion of their building. They are wanting to add 24,000 square foot addition to the east side of the building. And that with changing parking and traffic flow and to their site requires an amendment. This doesn't change the use of the building, so it wouldn't affect the permitted use. Parking that the MP1 doesn't have any specific requirements for parking, but looking at the general guidelines, they are providing 210 stalls, including 6 ADA stalls, I gave you an extra sheet that they sent over to me this morning that shows more details on their parking, and part of that on the second page is a blown up section that explains their one of the way the parking is configured for this would be 2 employees for every parking stall on the highest shift of work. And so they sent me that little snippet, shows you the amount of employees that would be working on the highest shift, which I believe said 100. And so their 210 stalls plus 680, including 6 ADA stalls, meets that requirement.
You said 2 employees per stall. Did you mean 2 stalls per employee?
2 employees per stall is the way it reads in the code. So, so the parking shouldn't be a problem. They did have, trying to remember when it was, the way their building is laid out, it does encroach over the setbacks by, I believe it's 2 feet. And they applied for a variance with the Board of Adjustments, came and met with the board, and that variance was granted, so they are allowed to go 2 feet over into the setback for the south side of the building, just where the bulb of the cul-de-sac is. I'm just looking at my notes here. There's no change in signage that I'm aware of. If there is any change, that would be addressed in a building permit. So that shouldn't be an issue. And the landscaping and open space and everything, they have shown on their site plan, the landscaping around the perimeter of the lot. So, again, we did ask along the railroad tracks, they currently have a 4-foot barbed wire fence. Our code does state that that required improvements, as for a solid board, chain link, or other non-climbable fence not less than 6 feet in height along the railroad rights of way. So we would ask that they make the improvement on the fence there to meet that required improvement. Other than that, everything meets the codes that we have in our municipal code, and staff would recommend with a few corrections that are on the engineer's memo and the plans that have been provided back to them, that we would recommend approval.
Okay, very good. And since we haven't, the other previous 2 items we'd already previously addressed, but since we haven't seen this before, we asked the applicant to come up
Yeah.
and address this. And
We need to open for a public hearing.
no, these 2 are not public hearings. I don't.
Oh, it says right there.
Yeah.
public hearing.
Oh, this
Site
is?
plan amendment is,
Yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry.
yep.
My apologies.
Motion to open item 2C for public
Before
hearing?
we do that, can we invite the applicant up
Yeah.
and then,
Sure.
okay. So,
Okay.
applicant? You just want to state your name and address for the record?
Matt Wardle, my business address is 2744 Parkland Boulevard.
Okay. So, obviously we love JD Machine, Pleasant View City, so thank you for being here, and EK Bailey loves JD Machine too.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And anyway, so any comments about the fence or I know that was gonna be a requirement, I think a recommendation, so
Yeah, that's fine.
that's fine. Okay.
Yeah, it's not a big issue.
Minor,
Can put that
so.
on back.
Okay, cool. Any questions for Matt?
I'm a little bit curious if you would someday apply for access into the bulb of that cul-de-sac just for ingress, egress, or fire exit, whatnot.
Yeah, so the original layout of the building, this will be our 3rd edition facility. I think
might have been a survey issue. Actually, the cul-de-sac was not there when we put the building in. And that cul-de-sac was put in, and the building, as you can see, has a keep to it. And we thought we had given plenty of space for the setbacks, but when that cul-de-sac shifted a little bit, it encroached on those setbacks.
It just would seem sensible to me to have an access into the, though, from the back of your parking lot.
There is.
They do have one.
It doesn't show on the drawing, but, so there is an egress there.
Yeah,
Well, actually, the entire side of that cul-de-sac is open for
yeah.
vehicles to get in and out of.
Would make sense.
Yeah, it works out really well.
Okay. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Matt.
Okay, now we can open for public hearing.
Motion to open item 2C for public hearing.
Okay, we have a motion by Dean,
I'll second.
second by Manya. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Anyone from the public here to address this site plan amendment? Doesn't look like it.
No torches, no pitchforks tonight. That's awesome.
Okay,
Get off easy.
take a motion.
Oh, I'll motion to close
Motion by Dean to.
item 2C for public hearing.
And a second by John. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, public hearing is closed. All right, any discussion amongst the commissioners about this site plan?
You've certainly made full use of your area there.
Yeah. I appreciate the fact that they went above and beyond on the parking issue to make sure that they exceeded the requirements. I think that's very good. Very well done. Thank you. I'm good. I'm ready to make a play.
More of a curiosity piece. I imagine additional employee, this will bring in additional employees or it's production area.
Yes.
Have you projected what that, how many? Just like I said, not part of the site plan, but for the record.
It's really interesting. I was just sitting here thinking about my time here in front of the city planning commission and the different phases. Initially, I thought this thing will last for 50 years. We'll never need to add on, and that was 2 add-ons ago. And you know, it's been a lot of fun to watch the growth of the company, and you know, manufacturing's doing really well in the US right now. In fact, this afternoon we had a call from a customer who their customer's the Navy, and they said we need immediate capacity in your supply base to support our needs. And so there's it hits home pretty quick when you start seeing just this little company in Pleasant View, Utah, that's part of, you know, the national security apparatus. So we've been partnering a lot with the local school districts and high schools, and have been able to just hire some wonderful young people. And we have an apprenticeship, and a lot of people have got careers, and we have a lot of people who live in Pleasant View, and it's and I hope to live in Pleasant View soon. And there's just a lot of good things going on. So little, I guess, ray of sunshine right here in our little town. So thanks for your support. And what comes after this, that's my kid's problem.
Thank you.
And folks.
Okay, very good.
You never addressed the employee question. Huh?
Yeah, it's secret.
That's fine.
Not to kill you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that being said, if there's any other comments, discussion, if not, we'll take a motion to recommend to city council.
No, you guys are the approval authority for site.
I'm sorry. I'm getting really mixed up today. Recommend approval.
Could make the motion if you like.
Okay, yeah.
I would like to motion that we approve the site plan for a building expansion for JD Machinery with any outstanding conditions indicated in the engineer's memo, staff and public works comments on application plans.
David, we have a motion by David,
I'll second the motion.
second by Dean. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, on to administrative item 2D. This is another, well, this is a recommendation to city council on a preliminary subdivision and contingent final subdivision approval for the subdivision of 2 parcels of land. No, I won't read the parcel IDs. And I believe Andrea is presenting this one.
I am. You could see that this was a late ad when you got your email, what, Tuesday afternoon. This initially came in as a minor subdivision and because it only included 1 parcel of land, it was only going to be 1 lot. It has changed from 1 lot to 1 lot plus a parcel for a detention basin. We've brought this at the engineer's recommendation to just bring it into Planning Commission, City Council as a precautionary measure, just because it involves the street in front of it, to bring it forward for your approval. So what we would ask tonight is that you that you approve the preliminary subdivision plan and then approve the final subdivision plan contingent on the city council approving the preliminary plan. So the normal process is that it would go preliminary to you guys, preliminary to city council, come back as final to you guys. Because this is so late in the game with this development and we've worked on it back and forth so many times, everything's been addressed between the developer and our engineer's notes. This is us putting it on as a precautionary measure. And so we don't want to hold up the development by having to go a whole nother month before getting final approval for this. Tammy, if you can just scroll down a little bit to the drawing of you can go to the first attachments. Oh, go up one. You go back up to there you go. Okay, so if anyone is unfamiliar with this development, it's the Far West and Pleasant View development that kind of spans the 2 cities. That's covering everything behind the Maverick on 2700 North. And then if you'll scroll down to the next one, Tammy. And then this shows just what is in Pleasant View, what you're approving and recommending approval on for this evening. Just this one triangle shape here. They have plans for the development in Far West. We haven't got any solid indication of what would be going on to this triangle piece. But I did provide all the subdivision plans that you could see. Far West has gone through and approved everything in their area. And then the 1740 West connection is going to be a separate subdivision plat that gives them the access next to Jimmy John's. So any questions on that?
Any questions?
No.
You might get to it later, but I'm just curious. It looked like Pleasant View was gonna be holding the detention pond. Where is that going?
It's at the north end of that triangle piece.
So I mean, it's a,
So stop right there. So yeah, the upper piece is the detention basin and that lower that's indicated lot 1 is a buildable lot. The parcel C is the detention basin.
so there is a buildable lot in Pleasant View as well?
Yes. It's
The
currently
north of-
zoned MCM. They have talked about trying to change it to MP1 possibly.
So the buildable lot would be north of 2775, 2775, what is that road gonna be?
Yes, 2775 as it comes across right there. The whole thing will be named Woodsonia Avenue, but the coordinates is 2775 at that point.
Any idea what the footprint is on the buildable lot?
I don't know right off the top of my head. They've indicated possible possible hotel and restaurants. So it is large enough to accommodate that type of facility. The entire triangle is 8.01 acres.
Okay. And then the detention pond will be north of the buildable lot.
That's correct.
Maybe another question or two. How did Pleasant View end up as the interplay with the Weber County versus Far West being in that role?
But what do you mean with Weber County?
With WCOG, how do you pronounce that? It sounded like the money's gonna go from Weber County, the WCOG to Pleasant View, and then we reimburse everybody else. I just wondered why we wanted to make our staff suffer through all that for a Far West development.
Right, so that's part of the development agreement, which is the next item on the agenda. But just before my time, when the WACOG funds were applied for, it was determined that Pleasant View would be the project manager and would administer the funds from that point.
Do we get reimbursed for that?
So WACOG gives the money to us and then we pass it along to the developer for the,
Our staff is gonna be knee deep in paperwork.
that's the agreement that we entered into in 2024. So that's just the way it is.
I'm just surprised. All we get out of it is a road and maybe one buildable parcel.
I can't speak for what prior administration decided.
Okay.
Why are we adding additional retention when we've already got a large pond there? Like we could just hollow that out.
Are you talking about the horseshoe pond?
Didn't understand what you said there. Could you please repeat that?
Were you talking about the Weber
Yes.
County horseshoe pond?
Yes.
Weber County would not allow them to drain their water there.
Okay. I wonder what county it's going in when it drains in. That makes no sense. Do you know? Okay.
Oh, you get the end pond. I would think it's gonna leave the triangle, but
Yeah. Okay.
I was a little wondering, I don't know, but maybe it's a whole different matter again, like you say, Andrea, but so what about the, I mean, Pleasant View gets a road and we also get all the sewage from this project. Just
We get
wondering-
about 70% of the sewage.
Pardon?
We get about 70% of the sewage, about 90% of the stormwater.
Yeah, I just wonder how this all got decided.
Far West Sewer and Stormwater couldn't service that area, so it was agreed upon a long time ago. The city council approved an interlocal agreement that says as much. That was also included in your packet as an attachment to the development agreement.
And down the road, do they contribute to our costs?
We get all the impact fees and we get 50% of the sewer service fee.
Andrew, do you have anything more or is that?
That's everything I have for you, unless you have questions. I just wanted to clarify what we were asking you is to make a recommendation for preliminary approval and then to give grant final approval based on or contingent on the city council giving preliminary approval.
My only question that I had was on the road that looks like it's labeled Woodsonia Avenue. I mean, typically you like to line those up with in intersections, and it looked like maybe this is not possible in this case with the existing businesses. Is that, how far away is that intersection that's just to the north that services the Simon Go property?
So this
Does that
comes
make
out
sense?
directly in front of the current winery. They've just chamfered the corner on the north side.
Yeah, it doesn't, the intersection doesn't really line up, but I'm not sure there's a good way you can line that up though.
Are you talking to what comes in from the other side?
Yeah, if you go across Parkland Boulevard.
Oh, yeah, I'm not sure. I don't have the plans right in front of me on how it lines up.
I have a question, Andrea, just about I think it's Exhibit G, the cost sharing schedule.
Okay, that again
Um,
is part of the development agreement. Did you want to talk about that right now?
Oh, we can talk about it in the next.
Okay. I just want to make sure that we're addressing the right thing at the right time.
Yeah, well, I'll hold my question.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion, comments, questions?
And we have representatives from the applicant too.
Okay. If no other questions, we'll invite the applicants to come and address us, if you don't mind.
I'm Hayden Peterson. Business address is 208 South 1300 East in Salt Lake. Our company's landmark, we're consultants for Woodsonia here on their behalf. As far as the discussion right now, I don't know if I have anything additional to add as far as the plat is concerned. Happy to answer any questions that came up in the last few minutes though.
So my question about the road, that, where you have the two, that's,
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of,
It's so the termination of Woodsonia Ave to the east doesn't align with the road to the north.
Right.
It's about a like 80 to 100-foot difference. So and the winery where it sits just north of that intersection, there would be unfortunately no way to align those roads.
yeah,
For a four-way intersection.
yeah, that was my thought. And
There's
fortunately,
a building, there's a building that sits right here, basically, so.
oh, there is, okay. Right. And fortunately, there's probably not gonna be a lot of traffic on that other, because it's just a little stub road.
Yeah.
So it's probably not a huge deal, but
I see a lot of traffic on it. Everybody that doesn't want to fight with the Maverick traffic is gonna go that way.
no, I'm talking about the stub road that way.
Yeah. it's
Not,
just,
not the main road going in, not the main road that goes north and south.
Right, but the only way out of there without going back through the Maverick mess is to head east on that road.
Right, but the stub road to the east of that is just a cul-de-sac. There's gonna be nothing there except for whatever business is right there, right? A
Yeah.
business. I mean,
It's
so
like a 300
very
foot
little
cul-de-sac.
traffic on the other side coming across. But yes, on the Woodsonia, yeah, there'll certainly be traffic. But
I was just gonna pull it up real fast on GeoGizmo so you can. Sorry. So the road would come across this way and come out here to Parkland.
Can you show where Rulon White ends up on Parkland there? Because that was, I was hoping it was right across from there because there is a stub road on the other side of that
Mhm.
that would cut behind the trailer park there. It would seem to me that would make more sense to bring a four-way across there rather than have two roads that diverge in a yellow wood and don't meet anywhere.
I think there were some discussions for the city of Pleasant View and the mobile home park in creating a secondary access point to the mobile home park at that intersection and not have it be an additional access road that would then connect to Woodsonia Ave.
I really think we ought to look at this, folks.
It has been looked at thoroughly. We can't really ask them to take that road out somewhere other than the road that already exists for the winery. I mean, the road was approved for the winery building and they're just coming out in front of it.
And I know that there is some additional commercial planned to the north of the Horseshoe Pond that would also be in the city of Pleasant View, which this road would also support.
Yeah.
In addition to the triangle piece that is part of the Woodsonia project. So that was part of the thought process for the way that the road is oriented in its current design. To support the rest of the commercially zoned properties to the north.
So Andrew, my question would be, is in the staff and engineers all comfortable with that arrangement? I mean, I know that there's not really anything else you can do because of the Horseshoe Pond below, but I know in an ideal world, they are lined up, but because I would fully support it, as long as, staff and engineering's on board too, so.
Yes, staff and engineering are on board. When the original application went into WACOG for this connectivity road, it would have come out in the same place designed, but if it was a city project, as it would now that it's a private developer.
Any other comments, questions for the applicant? If not, appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Yeah. And,
One clarification from me.
yeah,
So this is coming, it's minor subdivision, so it wouldn't necessarily need, it's not required to come to our body, but the staff's bringing it here to cover bases, or?
Andrea, did you hear that question?
Yeah, I did. So generally a minor subdivision isn't going to have a road installed on it. So when we initially designated it as a minor subdivision, it was because it was just the one lot and most of the developments in Far West. Where it does have that road that comes around on the south end of it, we just wanted to take precautionary measures and just, set a precedent and make sure that there was no legal reason that this could come back on the city or back on the developer as not being processed legally.
Okay, thank you.
okay. Any other discussion? Yeah, and this is not a public hearing, right? This one's not.
No, but the development agreement is.
Okay, yes, I did, yep, got that one. Okay, so, there's no other discussion, I will accept a motion for a recommendation to city council.
Need to do some,
Yeah, do you do it separate?
I think it's
Or
a
just
motion with
one?
a contingent.
but does that
Final.
need to be two motions? One to do preliminary and then a second, another
You have to do
motion?
two motions?
That's up to
Andrew,
you
is this-
guys. You can do it as one or you can do it as two.
I think
Okay.
it would be good either way.
Okay. John, I'm ready.
I will move, or a motion to give a recommendation to the city council of a preliminary, to approve this preliminary subdivision and B based on the contingent, based on the city council determination on the preliminary subdivision, to recommend approval for the final subdivision approval for subdivision of the two vacant parcels of land that are listed in the notes.
Does that cover everything?
Yes.
Okay, all right. We have a motion by John,
I'll second.
second by Commissioner Cotter. All in favor?
Aye.
I'm opposed.
Any opposed?
And I hope the city council looks this over very carefully. I'm sure you probably have had an eye on this before, but I do not think the traffic has been remedied for this situation. It's going to be a nightmare at Maverick, and it's going to be a nightmare on the other end where it joins Parkland, which does not have a signalized intersection.
So the secondary access comes out of 1740 West, actually, by the Jimmy John's, from the south end. So people can come in and out at that signalized intersection. The Parkland Boulevard one is, if people exit to the north, and they have done multiple traffic studies on it, and UDOT has addressed it as well. But we can talk about that in the development agreement because UDOT's agreed to participate in some of that as well.
Are you talking 1740 will be west of?
1740 West will
Well,
be,
that's what you just mentioned, didn't you?
yes,
1740 West is the street that Jimmy John's, the corner that Jimmy John's is. that goes-
Right, and she mentioned that the eastbound would run into the Jimmy John's Road. I'm not seeing that.
Yeah, it's, the road comes right, right off on the west side of Jimmy John's and curves back to the right behind Maverick and then up I-15 and then wraps around above the horseshoe pond.
Yeah, can you show that again?
Okay. So this is the Jimmy John's Road that goes into the mobile home park. The road to the Woodsonia project will come up this way, and I am in no way in the exact position, but it's gonna come up and curve this way, go behind Maverick, which is here, and curve up to the north.
So it's not going to be the Maverick Road, that's the corner of Maverick, that's the main access?
no,
No.
Secondary.
There. Very wrong. It'll come up from Jimmy John's, go across, and then meet in with this road here.
Okay, so yeah, I thought we were coming off of the Maverick Road. And
no,
into Jimmy
and I
John's
have a
Road.
diagram I can show you in the development agreement that lays it out just a little bit better.
They're coming off of that light that's right there at the kidney place.
Okay, that improves. Maverick already is a bad intersection and it's not signalized.
Yeah, and it's not very accessible, you're correct. That's why they're bringing it up to the light by the Jimmy John's and the kidney place, so.
Okay,
So again, that road, the one that goes behind Maverick, that won't connect to that one. That won't connect to the one coming off of Parkland.
Well, no,
It
well,
loops up with-
when it goes east,
But so they will connect.
Parkland, not to the Jimmy John's Road.
they're both gonna connect.
Jimmy John's is down here. Gonna come up, connect with the road behind Maverick, go up the west side of the property and then come out this way.
Onto Parkland, which is, like I say, again, it's not signalized. I just wish it
That
worked
one,
out
no,
better.
but down there it is.
The down here.
Yeah. But in any case, I just think, this could use a head scratcher too.
So
I
nothing will
I
stop.
just shared my
people
screen if you
coming.
wanted to see the full plan for that road.
Yeah.
Is there anything that will stop people from using that road right by the Maverick to access this? Because if they're gonna all connect, you're gonna have people coming and going through both roads, aren't you?
It's gonna be a right in, right out because they're gonna put a raised median in.
Say that one more time.
It'll be right in, right out with a raised median in the middle.
No lefty loosies on
Okay.
those.
Okay.
I kind of like that idea because a lot of times you get in there to the Maverick and if you have to, especially people who are getting back on the freeway, people who stop and get gas, they're not crossing over trying to get back on the freeway going southbound. So they have the opportunity to go around and hit that other light, which is nice, which is right close to it.
Okay, well, we have it passed 4-1, recommendation to city council.
Right, just to make it clear on the record, we had an approved vote for
Recommended approval?
recommended approval with all the commissioners except Commissioner Gosner voted
Correct.
nay. Okay.
Okay. On to item 4A, development agreement. And this is a recommendation to city council for a development agreement for the commercial development project in Pleasant View between this project, Woodsonia.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay, so can you see my screen? I shared it.
Yes.
yep.
Okay, so this is the proposed development here. As you can see, most of it does fall in Far West versus that small portion in Pleasant View. The development agreement itself doesn't address any land use issues. So we're not diverting from any ordinances like you've seen in other development agreements that we brought before you for other developments. This one is just basically covering that WACOG funding. Far West and Pleasant View applied for that several years ago. It was awarded, like I said, I don't know why Pleasant View became the custodian, but here we are. So this is going to dictate the procedures on reimbursing the developer for that. Down here on the Jimmy John's Road, that will be funded by WACOG. And then on the east-west portions of Woodsonia Avenue, so not the one that goes north and south next to I-15, but on the east-west portions, the development standards are only a 70-foot road. We and Far West have asked those roads to be 80 foot in width. So the WACOG funding will cover the expansion of the extra 10 feet on those portions of that road. So when the developer installs that infrastructure and submits to Pleasant View for reimbursement, we will then submit it to WACOG, and then we have to go back because WACOG will only disperse to a governmental entity. It's kind of the same with, I'll come down here, with the UDOT funding. This is their plan to expand 2700 North. Because of the traffic studies that they did, UDOT indicated that they would need dual left turn lanes into 1740 West. As they're doing that, UDOT's also going to do that raised median. So UDOT agreed to participate in that widening there at $250,000. So again, UDOT will only disperse to a governmental entity. So when they have completed that project and submitted for reimbursement, UDOT will give the money to us, and then we will go and give it to the developer. And then the two interlocal agreements. This is the one about Far West and Pleasant View participating in the WACOG funding. And then, as I talked earlier, this is the development agreement that entered into by the city council earlier in the year, or I guess late last year, governing the stormwater and the sewer and transportation, everything that's involved in that development that kind of crosses jurisdictions there. And then I know that we had some, questions on the cost sharing table. This was something that went back and forth quite a few times. Dana from Jones, as well as Matt Robertson, who is Far West representative from Jones and Associates, went through, kind of nailed down quantities and units and pricing for that, and went through. And so now it's determined what the quantity prices are going to be when they submit for reimbursement on that. It totaled out at 3.7 million. The WACOG funding is 5.4 million. The city has turned in some reimbursement for our expenses with Jones and Associates for this project, so that we're not funding that for the development. And our recommendation would be to recommend to the city council approval of the development agreement.
Thank you, Andrea. And any discussion amongst, oh, I'm sorry, are you done, Andrea?
Oh, no, I don't have anything
Oh, I'm
else.
sorry. Sorry.
Can we just clarify? I thought, it sounded like you said the city council had already approved it. Has it changed since they approved it, or what? Where are we at?
No, I'm sorry. The city council has approved the interlocal agreement between Far West and Pleasant View City, which talks about the land use, who governs the land use authority, the stormwater and the sewer infrastructure, road maintenance, those type of items. That was just included in here just as a reference to who has the authority to inspect the infrastructure and maintain it. So it's just a piece of reference within the development agreement.
So has the reimbursement agreement been approved by city council or not?
No, sir.
So we're making a recommendation for that tonight.
That's correct. Yep. So like I said, this is unlike the other development agreements that have come before the city in recent months, where this isn't talking about land use or lots or slope or anything like that. We're just simply addressing the reimbursement of these funds.
And has city council reviewed it?
They have not. It will be in their packets for Friday if you guys recommend approval.
You got a lot of dollars and cents on here that, what do we know?
I guess the question, so these are, this is an estimate, right? When we're talking about the tables at the end. So if any costs come in above that, what happens through that process?
So they would have to show their quantities, but they'll be held to the unit prices.
So there can't be any variance in actuals to what is shown here.
There could be if a unique situation came up and they needed to put like more fill or more asphalt, they would be able to come in and show that they needed more of the material, but the price for the material per unit would stay the same. So the estimate here is the $3.7 million. If they go to reimburse with our costs that we've already submitted to WACOG and Far West costs that they've already submitted to WACOG, that funding will never go above the 5.4 million because that's what WACOG is awarded to the project.
I get, yeah, so that's my question, is just that there's like kind of a check and balance in this that, you know.
Yeah, one of the features I'm not crazy fond of is if we make a late payment to the contractors, we're on the line for 10% interest.
That's for any undisputed items. If we dispute a quantity or have an issue with it, those won't be held to that 10% interest. There's no reason if they turn in for reimbursement and our engineers verify those items that we wouldn't be reimbursing them within that time frame. We actually asked for more than they initially asked for. Or sorry, we put a longer time frame in the agreement than the developer originally asked for.
So there's a lot of information here. Is somebody assessing risk to city, like for this development as it goes along? Is there somebody that evaluated that as part of? Is that just part of the city team that kind of evaluated that as it went? I guess there's just a lot of information here. I guess I'm trying to, for us to wade through it and to provide some sort of recommendation. I'm just trying to understand kind of, the risk tolerance of the city and kind of if there was things evaluated that way I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah, so the engineers went through the cost sharing schedule and pared that down to where they felt like it was reasonable. Our legal team has gone through this thoroughly. And if they just walked away from the project, we wouldn't be reimbursing them for anything. Also, as part of the subdivision, they are required to put up a security agreement, which would be like an escrow account or a letter of credit. So if they walk away mid-project, we already have those funds held or secured so that we could complete the project.
Okay.
Is Andrew, is she done?
You have more, Andrea?
I'm done answering that question. I'm happy to answer any of the other questions that they may have.
Okay, any other questions from commissioners? If not, we'll open a public hearing.
Do the applicants have anything else
Oh,
to add to this on this?
sorry. Yes, I apologize. Any comments or questions for applicant? We already heard from them on the previous item, but we can certainly do so again. If not, then let's move to the public hearing.
I'll make a motion that we open for a public hearing.
We have a motion by Manya and
I'll second.
second by Dean. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're now in a public hearing. Questions from the public? Welcome.
Hello, Scott Nicholson, 4415 North, 400 West Pleasant View. Actually live in Pleasant View. And John's my neighbor actually. And no comment in particular on this development. I just would like you guys to not have tunnel vision, and Commissioner Gosner was 100% correct. Traffic is not only going to be an issue with this project, but if you look at the big picture, pull out from that, there's 10 times as much property as this development north of that. And right now, the only means of egress is on 4300. So I'm just hoping you guys are taking a look at that and realize that at some point in time, 4300 is not where you're going to be going, or not 2700, excuse me. You're going to have to go to 89 with the second means of egress. That's going to mean going over the railroad track, however you manage to do that. But yeah, there's a lot of land north of there and none of that's developed yet. So just wanted to make sure you're looking at that. Thank you.
I
Thank you.
appreciate some
Appreciate it.
support. I don't mean to be a naysayer because we're happy to see some development here. I just wish that the roads lined up, that we had traffic signals planned, and I just think it needs a little more work before we approve things.
So can I just address his comment though? 4300 North, we do have a master plan where that does come across 89 onto the west side and does put access out of Parkland Boulevard. The signalizing is a little hard because that's a UDOT road, so they're the ones that are gonna make the call on that.
Again, it's not a straight way intersection, you know, and you're gonna have to realign Pleasant View Drive to meet that, and you got a jig jag in there. It just,
Pleasant View Drive?
yeah, that's supposed to meet up what she's talking about, the road as it meets 89 eventually.
Oh, you, okay, you're talking something different.
We call it Clearfield.
Yeah, okay. All right, any other, see no more comments, we'll take a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close public hearing.
Motion by Dean,
I'll second.
second by Manya, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Public hearing is closed. Okay, very, any, what's discussion amongst, commissioners for this, development agreement between, for this project?
I agree with Commissioner Gosner that there's a lot of moving parts. I think all of us agree that there's a lot of moving parts, but I also feel like staff has done a good job in trying to make sure they've covered all the bases along with the engineering. I do understand that we've got a weird shaped piece of land with a bunch of existing stuff that we're having to serpentine a road through, and we've got a canal system and railroad system and stuff, and it's just not easy. That's why it resembles Clearfield. So I don't feel like we have a ton at risk by recommending approval and letting them proceed, because we're going to have to develop our city to get more money, to get better improvements, to be able to tie on to 89, to get all of that. And this is just one of the baby steps to get to that next level. I know that there's enough space behind Maverick up to the hot springs to put in a minimum of 6 Farmington stations, maybe 10. I've done the math a couple of times just because I was curious. And so I'm glad to see that we're taking a step in that direction and we're starting to utilize that land for something different. And so that's my input on this particular one.
Thanks, Dean. Any other comments, questions, suggestions? John? Oh, I thought you had a second. Okay. Okay, if no other discussion, take a motion for a recommendation to city council.
Want me to get this one? Okay. I'll motion to approve to move forward item 2A, the development agreement. 4A, excuse me. 4A for the development agreement for Pleasant View City and Far West City to be able to get along on this new development that we're doing.
So this
As
is
presented by
between,
staff and with
sorry, this is between
recommendations.
Pleasant View City and Woodsonia.
Oh,
Oh, it's not part of.
that's a little different than what it says on the agenda.
It just says a development in Pleasant View and Far West, not between.
This is Woodsonia and
Oh.
Far West LLC.
That's not
Where do you
bad,
see-
right?
It's on the development
Yeah.
agreement. It's.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm okay. Do you want me to start over? Tammy?
Please.
Okay. Let's try this again. I'll motion to approve item 4A.
Recommendation for approval.
Recommendation for approval for item 4A for the development agreement between Pleasant View City and what's the other word?
Woodsonia.
Woodsonia, Far West LLC. As presented by staff with recommendations from staff and engineering to the city council. End of story.
Motion by Dean,
Can I amend that motion just slightly?
You can rewrite it entirely.
No, no. Would it be, is it appropriate to, part of the recommendation to approve, include the concerns, particularly what Dave brought up about the traffic flow and then your comments about looking, this is this is a baby step looking down the road. Just,
We don't have a way to get around the necessary evil, and we've already paid
We don't.
staff and engineers to figure out the best way to cut this up.
yeah.
So I
Also,
don't
can I
know as
just,
planning commission.
can I just point
Go
out,
ahead.
this is for the development agreement for reimbursement. This isn't for the subdivision plan.
yeah, this is
Okay.
just,
Yeah, so we got
So
another
I'll-
crack at this.
I'll take my amendment, my thoughts to amend back.
This one's pretty cool.
okay. So we have a motion by Dean. And we just need a second.
I'll second.
Second by John, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Once again, I'm opposed,
opposed?
just because I think it's inappropriate to set a unanimous decision to the city council on this.
So we have a four in favor, Manya, John, Dean, and Chad in favor with David opposed.
Okay.
Okay, very good, very much. And thank you.
Thank you, David.
Any other items? Planning commission items? Thank you, Andrea, for joining.
Thank you, Andrea.
Yep.
Any other, commission business?
Thank you for those that did their training, for the open public meetings training. Brian, I will get with you on the rest of the training for you to get all that completed so you can be a full voting member.
Thank you. I was gonna actually say that. I was gonna just clarify with Brian what he needs to do so he can vote.
Yeah,
So,
I will get that to you. When Julie left, she left a big binder of information. Do all of you have that?
I got a bunch of.
I got
notes from her.
I have a binder.
You have a big binder?
Mhm.
Okay. So I will put together, some extra binders for all of you that may or may not have one.
I didn't get one.
I
Okay,
do have one.
you do have one?
It's not a big
Chad?
binder, it's like just a small.
She had like a big 3-inch binder. Okay. Okay, I can put some.
It has
'cause
all
that
the
has-
land use codes. in it.
Uh-huh,
Yeah,
yeah.
and maps and.
and state code and everything
Yep.
like that, so I'll make sure that all of you have a copy of that. Other than that, April meeting is on the 2nd. I know that's spring break, so, but it could be a very big meeting. We have lots of things coming.
I know.
I thought we moved the April 2nd to April 9th.
We talked about it, but I will be at, the APA conference. So we
Me
decided.
too.
And Dean will be at the APA conference on the 9th. So,
I
we
will
kept,
be out
we
of town.
kept it
but
on the 2nd.
I won't be here.
So do we know who will be out of town?
I will be out of town. Manya,
Right, we may have to,
Dean,
I'm out.
Chad's gone.
Okay, I'll get with
Yeah,
Andy and
it's
Steve.
Spring break.
Okay.
But at this point, it's scheduled for the second.
It is scheduled for the second right now.
Already like.
I can be here either way, but I just, I thought we had moved it.
Okay, well, we will figure that out and get any changes made if we need to. Other than that, I don't have anything else?
Okay.
Steph?
Okay, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll, I'll motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you.